Our MFL Marmac Coach Conversation brought to you by Birdnow Chevrolet, by Havlicek Trucking, and by Meyer Auto Service. It's Dan Anderson, the head coach of the Bulldogs, and Dan, Wapsie Valley came to town last week. All in all, scoreboard didn't go your way, but it looked like just a tremendous high school football game, fair to say.
Yeah, it was. Our guys came ready to play. So did Wapsie. We all know the conditions weren't the best, but everybody plays in the same conditions. We executed our game plan. Got to give credit to the Wapsie guys. They've got a lot of speed, and we knew that they'd be able to take away a lot of our outside running game. So we schemed all week to make sure we had a strong inside running game because we knew the weather was going to maybe be bad, and the fact that they just have so much speed. And our offense didn't do much in the first half, other than one long pass to Carter Decker, and it took us till the second half to start figuring things out. They came out in a different look that we weren't expecting. They came out in an odd front, and they've been running an even front all year. And so, it took us a little while to get used to that. But the kids responded. They played tough, and, just 1 point, it's just the way it goes.
And what do you take away from a game like that? Where do you balance the things that you maybe could have done a touch better, but you also played really well in many aspects against a really good team? How do you balance that moving forward?
Yeah, of course the kids don't like losing, and neither do I. But the fact is, we played well. The kids didn't get rattled. They fought the whole game. We came back in the fourth quarter. We were down 14-8 going into the fourth quarter, but we started establishing the ground game. The offensive line started playing a lot better there in the second half. And, I was really pleased with how we were moving the ball and being more physical up front. We'll probably get a chance to see those guys again. I sure hope. And, maybe it'll come out different the next time we see them. But, they've got a lot of seniors on that team. We were playing 9 kids that were underclassmen on defense. We had 2 freshmen in there quite a while in the second half, and they were playing just like the rest of the varsity guys. And so, for us to have that many young guys in there battling with a top 5 team, and taking them to the very end, I was pleased.
And on the defensive side, you held a top 5 team to 22 points. You had 7 tackles for a loss. You also had 3 takeaways. I'd imagine those are numbers you're pretty comfortable with.
Yeah, for sure. Cullen McShane had a great game again. He's been pretty solid for us every single week. Another guy that really played well for us was Chauncey Duran, playing defensive end for us. He played linebacker earlier in the year, and we moved him to D end and the last couple of weeks, and he's, I think, really found his spot there. He was in there causing problems the whole time. Wapsie has a good offense. They're pretty balanced, and with the weather conditions that we had, both teams had to rely on the ground game, and there was a few loose balls by both teams. You expect that when it's so wet and raining like that. But overall, our guys, we ended up, I think, had more yards of total offense than they did by the end of the game. Gabe had a good game on the ground. I think he had 106 yards, and Cullen had a good game on the ground. Max threw the ball well considering the conditions. So, overall, we played a pretty good football game. It's just, that 1 point, we went for 2 when they went for, kicked extra points, and we got one of them. And if we would have got one more of those 2-point conversions, might have been different.
This week, you make the trip down to Clayton Ridge. What do you expect out of the Eagles?
Well, they're really big up front. I think they've got 8 kids that are 270 to 350. So they're really big offensive, defensive line. They've got a fast back. That Cook kid's a good back, shifty. So we're going to have to make sure that we know our assignments. That our pad level's got to be a lot better this week because you're going against guys that are that big. You stand up and you're not going to get any movement. So they're 0-3. But I think they're better than their record shows. And a few years ago, we went down there and they were winless. And, I think our kids were a little overconfident and, they got us 33-29. So, one thing is I think our kids didn't like losing last Friday night. They're kind of in a bad mood. They're kind of irritated this week a little bit. They've been challenged. They got to prove some things that they proved that they could play with the best, Class A football teams in the state. But now they got to prove that they don't like losing and come out with some attitude on Friday night. And I think they're going to do that.
Sounds like your personality. I've known you for a while. I think that's fair to say, isn't it?
Well, I think sometimes kids take the same personality as their coaches, and I don't like to lose. I hate losing more than I like winning. and I like to win, but I really don't like to lose, and we're trying to be perfectionists, and, I'm proud of my kids. I really am, but we don't like to lose. And so, we're going to fix some things and come out irritated on Friday night, probably.
And when you talk about the size that you're going to be dealing with Clayton Ridge this week, is there a way to actually simulate that in practice, or can you?
Now, you can't simulate it in practice. We've got a few ideas of some things we want to do to try to neutralize their size. Obviously, I don't want to give that out on here yet, but there's some things we plan to do, and we just got to make sure the pad level is the number one thing, though. And staying low and firing out and keeping your legs driving. We're not probably going to get a lot of push on some of those guys that are, one of their D tackles is about 350, and their nose guard's about 290, and their other tackle I think is about 315. On defense. So you're not going to get a ton of push on those guys, but you don't have to make a lot of push. You just got to get angles and create a little crease. And we've got fast backs. And so, we do that, throw the ball all right, we should be okay.
All right, Coach, keep your kids healthy. Hopefully you can get back on the winning track this week. Best of luck to you.
All right. Thanks, Darren.
MFL Marmac Coach Conversations are brought to you by Birdnow Chevrolet, Havlicek Trucking, and Meyer Auto Service.